Today we're going to be testing the 12B model of Gemma 4 with a few coding prompts that we've used before. We'll be using OpenCode via lmstudio, and I'll just show you briefly how to set that up. So if you go into Macintosh HD, into Library and Application Support, create a folder called OpenCode and then a file within there called opencode.json. Paste this JSON into the file which I've left down in the description. The base URL must match what you've got in lmstudio here, this is the default, and the model name I just leave as lmstudio because whichever model you load in lmstudio is the model that OpenCode will use. So with that out of the way, let's get to our first prompt, which is build a side-scrolling helicopter game using Python. And you can see when we've pressed enter on the prompt that lmstudio gets to work with the 12B model which is loaded here. After a few short minutes, the helicopter game is ready. I'm just ready to run that now. So we'll take a look. Neon Rescue, I think that's what the larger Gemma 4 model called the game. Oh my. Oh, so here's the helicopter, it's just a nice block. There's no real physics, it just goes left, right. The civilians are the white dots, and if you get close to them, regardless of whether you land or not, it just puts them in the helicopter, and then it says civilians saved 4. Let's try and get shot by one of the guns. Yeah, health is reducing, so health is 70 now, health is 60, health is 50. So let's go and get these civilians here. And it says saved 5, so when we go back to base, does it drop them off? Or does it say the base is over here? We've left one behind. Not quite sure what the... Okay. I don't know if it crashed there or it was game over. Let's run it again. For a 12B model, I think it's acceptable. I think you'll be able to write additional prompts to fine-tune the model. Interestingly, when I try to go off the top of the screen, it doesn't allow me to, whereas the larger 27B model didn't have that built in. All in all, not a bad first attempt. At least it works. It vaguely has done what I've asked it to do. So for a 12B model, I think that's quite good. Let's get shot one more time. Oh yeah, so when we get shot and the health goes down to 0, we get thrown out of the game. It did say game over, and then that's the end of it. So I have to rerun it. It's not really side-scrolling. We don't have any terrain or anything like that. It's just one screen with random guns. So the second test is to make a 4-page website for Bonza Boardman Surf School using PHP, and there should be an admin link in the footer which takes you to a login screen. In the 27B model, I wasn't very impressed with the results. It didn't seem to have any flair, or it was very, very basic. So let's just see what the 12B model has to offer. It goes without saying, I'm not expecting much. Anyway, after just over 4 minutes, Gemma 4 has produced some PHP files in our Surf School folder. So we're just going to run a PHP server in that folder, and then we can look at it in our web browser. It's certainly more colourful than the 27B version, but it is just a very basic page. It did try to put some pictures in there, but it hasn't managed to do it. We'll just go into the admin area here. Well, that's very good. I like that. So it appears on the admin dashboard that you can only change the theme and none of the content on the site. So that's a bit of a letdown. So as with the Gemma 4 27B model, the 12B model here has produced something very simple. and there were a few comments on the last video to say that Gemma 4 was very lazy, so I've given it an additional prompt to hopefully spur it on to make something a bit better. After all, I think when we're using these models, the likelihood of you getting something fantastic in a one-shot prompt is not really how these models work, because you kind of work with them by going back and forth, seeing what they've produced and then coming up with more ideas as you go. So I think it's quite good sometimes to do more than one prompt. Okay, so Gemma 4 says, I have overhauled the website to give it the pizzazz you were looking for and upgraded the admin dashboard to handle full content management. Let's go onto here and refresh the page. Oh, this is a bit better. Yeah, I like the font. Start your journey. Beginner basics, intermediate flow, advanced pro. See, this is what I was looking for from the outset. Just a bit of style. The pictures still don't work. Just by using this font, I suppose it makes it look a bit more professional. Let's go into the admin portal. There we go. In the admin dashboard now we can change the site name. We've got the themes again. Ocean Breeze, I'll change that. Lessons. So you can change all the things out here, which is good. So I just created a couple of pictures in Draw Things to use on the gallery page to make it look a little bit better. All in all, not a bad second attempt. I'm happy with that. Let's move on. The third prompt is to make an International Space Station tracker using information from celesttrack.org in the form of a two-line element, and it has to plot that on a map and include speed, latitude, longitude and height data. Despite a few back and forths with the model, this page has failed to load. I think this is my third attempt now. And I also actually pasted in the two-line element itself if it couldn't connect to the internet and retrieve the data itself, but it is still failing. I think Gemma 4 12b handled the task fairly well. The Python game, it did work. There was no errors with it. Although the game was a bit basic, everything worked as it should do. The Bonza Boardman Surf School was very basic, as in the 27B model, but with an additional prompt it did start to come alive and look fairly good. Unfortunately, this satellite tracker can't show us any information, although it has created the page, used leaflet for showing the maps, and it has got the telemetry data at the bottom, although nothing seems to be connecting because it can't load the data. Just a very quick test in lmstudio here to get the token count, which is 19.44 tokens per second on the M5 Pro. So all in all, I think Gemma 4 12b is a good model to run on the M5 Pro. It runs around 20 tokens per second and has produced some fairly good results.